Every one of a woman's hormone phases of life provides a unique demand for exercise protocols that are most beneficial. And then you layer the nuances that are true for her right now. Nuances? Like, what is that? Say she's gained weight, or due to the pandemic, maybe that happened, or it came on during menopause and she hasn't learned that it's just a sign that what she's doing now isn't working. That's a nuance. If she just learned she has osteoporosis, doesn't know what to do with that information, she could easily fall prey to the programs that can all say that they improve bone density, but maybe only help to a small extent. And I want to tell you this. So if you are a yoga instructor, your Pilates instructor, and you use that program leverage and tell women that this improves bone density, in fairness, I really think you've got to decide, what is it that you promote? What is it that you are standing behind? Are you catering to women who want Pilates? Is that your target market? Or is it women who have osteoporosis? Because here's the truth. 4 decades of experience talking here, okay? And I am a certified registered yoga instructor, 200 hour. I'm a reformer and mat certified Pilates instructor. I don't discriminate against exercise, but if I was targeting women with osteoporosis or osteopenia or helping them prevent, that's my target market. I'm going to go to what is the most influential in the shortest amount of time. And that would probably not, my friends, be yoga or Pilates, even though I know I can teach that. It's probably going to be strength training. So I don't say this to alienate any of you, but I do say it we've got some integrity that we've got to come to grips for. You may do and be a Pilates expert, but telling people and marketing and leveraging Pilates for bone density benefits can be a little walking a line of, is that really the best way for her to use that 45 minutes twice a week? That is all she's got to exercise if bone density is the highest priority. So just food for thought there. Don't shoot the messenger. And I'd love for you to come to your own conclusions for that. We may differ, but I do think that it's really important for us to do that for each of the clients that we work with. So if you were writing a report, it would come to that. So for osteoporosis, what is the best and the most important things to focus on, the highest priorities? If you were working with somebody with arthritis, similarly, or fibromyalgia, or cancer, or any number of goals someone has, you can walk through that same process. And I think if you approach it from that way, then it becomes, okay, you've got to really take a grip on what might be misleading to a consumer who doesn't know any better. All right. There's also, if clients need better pelvic floor strength, they might be told by someone Kegels or Pilates are the best way, but they're not all the best for every woman. And that's where the need to know exercise for women's hormone phase of life that she's in comes in. You need to know, as the coach, the ally, the advocate, the trainer, you need to know your client's personal priorities for weight loss, bone density, muscle strength, energy, sleep support, libido boost, mood, cognitive support. And from the answer to these 3 questions, what hormone stage is she in, what conditions, injuries, or limitations she has, and what priorities she has, you then choose exercise based on collective combination of all of those things. Let me walk you through why this is so important right now, and why clients can get derailed, and they're coming straight for you, you think, right? Because they're your ideal client, but they don't come to you. Why would that be? Clients often start doing something like this and then end up coming to you, talking to you. One woman described to me that, I've been working with this other program and she's a hormone specialist just like you. But then in our conversation, I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Because any one of us can call ourselves a hormone specialist. Hormones and exercise have always been intertwined. It's just in the last 10 or 15 years that we realize how very different your hormones, males versus a females, an older versus a younger gender. And that becomes very important, but no one, like, meaning, I guess, no one male goes through 7 hormonal changes in her life, and sometimes more than that, maybe a little bit less if you don't choose all of them. But a woman goes through a lot of hormone phases. She goes through a cycle every month in her adult life, but there's also major phases in her overall life. A trainer or program targeting everyone is designed for no one. And this is where you can set yourself apart. So let's talk just for a minute about fitness and health coaching and marketing it. Here's the deal. Fitness or a diet program that says for women in menopause, but it doesn't have any science featuring women in menopause, that's just good marketing, because there's more than 6,000 women a day entering menopause, because there's going to be 1.2 billion women in menopause in 2030 in the world. And they're going to be control in the United States alone of $30 trillion. I mean, that's a lot. So why wouldn't they spend some of that money with you, you might be asking? And they will, if you're full of integrity. But there are a lot of, say, fitness and health celebrities that I just love. And yet there are a lot of behaviors of those same celebrities that I just hate. And this is one of those behaviors, targeting midlife women with weight loss programs that was not only not specifically designed based on science on them, on their hormone health, their gut status, their signs and symptoms. It's just irresponsible of celebrity. It's like professional athletes our kids used to cherish using steroids or taking money to manipulate the game at a time when women are so very vulnerable to feelings of low body confidence, exhaustion from fatigue and not sleeping, and betrayed by a body that they can't figure out anymore. Any message that resonates with them about what it is that they want and hits them at a time when they feel all the frustration, it's enough to make them take a risk, even if they're an intelligent female. A big fitness icon who sold millions in fitness programs is doing just that. Several fitness pros just entered midlife themselves, a lot of us. So I get it. They're experiencing menopause, so they're talking about it, and that's a good thing. But slapping a marketing campaign on another diet program that was already in existence just to take advantage of midlife women, that's a crime. Her programs have always targeted women, this one celebrity I'm talking about, of all ages. But as I check out her new program she's offering, the only thing that's changed about it is the marketing page. The program itself is not different. So let's be realistic here. If you're paying attention and you've been here at Fitness Marketing Mastery, or you're following me at Flipping 50 for just even a minute, you know what works for men and mice and young women will not work for women in midlife and beyond. So programs that are targeted for 20 and 30 and 50 and 60-something women were built with no one of them in mind. So every woman's hormone phase is different, but pros are not addressing it in that way. Even 2 women in menopause differ. One could be small-framed who wants to add muscle and bone density, and even for whom gaining weight is a goal and needs to do that, while for another, they want to focus on gaining muscle in order to lose weight. And still, another could either one of those women be, but with prior injuries. And then maybe one has adrenal fatigue and one is fine, but just new to exercise. A program and a trainer or health coach needs to be able to see the top priorities, choose the most important variable, and start there. Whether you work one-on-one or you work in a group, it's going to be awful hard to have a group situation without some one-on-one. interruption or disrupt in a program for a midlife woman. And yes, it's true. All ages of females have the same body parts for the most part, but every decade of life simply as a good way of arranging it, in your 20s and your 30s, needs slight change, right? Better than each decade is every phase of hormone change in exercise needs change. So let's go through them. In pre-puberty, building bone density, building a lifetime of love for activity, and experiencing a variety of movement is the most important priority. In puberty and in young adulthood, which can go well into the 30s, if not to 40, if someone chooses not to have children, the goals are continued bone building until that window closes at about 30 of bone density. Optimizing peak muscle mass, that closes at about 25. So we want to make sure we're gaining it using the advantage of the body confidence that can occur then because you've got more muscle easily. Build that body confidence and establish strength training habits and really sound technique and learn proper technique and injury prevention where it's related to her uniquely, as well as the activity she loves. Prenatal, if someone chooses or is blessed enough to go there or is helping themselves with hormones. Maintaining and gaining fitness for optimal fetal and maternal health, avoiding too much heat early in pregnancy because of the dissipation of heat not tolerated well during the first trimester, avoiding too much joint stress in late pregnancy, offsetting changes to the center of gravity throughout and the upper and lower back stress that happens with that. Pelvic floor integrity. Also, generally the first awareness often happens then. Postnatal. Ensuring gradual recovery from pregnancy for long-term joint and ligament health. Jumping right back into it too soon to lose that weight really can do long-term damage for joints. Optimal wellness in the new mother. She's not sleeping, right? She's got tons of stress. She's not good at something she's never done before. She needs that exercise release. Continued support for her back in recovery from birth and with a newborn, and begin the transition to strength training again and cardio activity postpartum. So supporting with the timing and the type and the re-entry. Perimenopause. Identifying lifestyle habits that are associated with the prevalence of menopause symptoms. Give me an example of that, you might be thinking. And here's the not prioritizing sleep for one. So there's no sleep cycle. They get up whenever they want to get up or sleep in as long as they can, take advantage of it to get the most sleep. That's a bad idea. Actually, women in menopause and generally before is better as well, should get up at the same time every day, 365. No such thing as sleeping in, and that's going to set a better bedtime schedule as well. Little things like that, but also it can be exercise. So learning to exercise in the correct way to decrease the symptoms of menopause. And that is higher intensity will have a better and more positive effect on hot flashes and night sweats. Building bone density by building strength training, muscle mass maintenance, and increase as well in perimenopause to prepare for the decades ahead when it's easier to lose than to gain. And rest and recovery increase during perimenopause. Generally, that occurs or starts at around 40, even if there may not be signs and symptoms. But increasing the rest and recovery is not something intuitive. And women also often associate that with, well, no, I want to do more because I want to be fit, but that's really not the way it works. In menopause, which is not actually a stage, but I'm qualifying this as the last couple years of perimenopause and the first couple of postmenopause, what should be the focus is muscle mass loss prevention and bone mass loss prevention because they both accelerate dramatically during that phase of time, that 3 to 5 years, depending on who we are. We don't know what that window is, but you better be focused on it. Otherwise, that damage is done. It's harder to get it back than it is to prevent the loss in the first place, and then it will affect you for decades. Menopause symptom reduction. So again, adequate intensity can decrease night sweats, hot flashes, brain fog, right? But only if it's adequate. Brain boosting exercise connections, when there's brain fog, lack of concentration, that kind of thing, it is best to support exercise. So movement with certain brain training can be helpful. Just the exercise itself can be helpful for brain, but we can actually optimize that as trainers and health coaches. Then post-menopause, weight and body composition optimization, because often women don't have a struggle until after menopause, depending on who they are. Gaining or maintaining of strength, gaining or maintaining bone mineral density, mobility emphasis. And this is where it becomes more key. Not that it hasn't been important before this, but this is sometimes where it's really beginning to show up that, oh, gosh, I don't have the range of motion I used to have, or exercise begins to feel awkward, largely because of lack of mobility. Continued enjoyment of activity and exploring new activities now that they're often in post-menopause with retirement. If that's a factor, there's more time to try new things. There's less stress to try new things. And then also pelvic floor integrity. So the 5 inches of real estate in a woman's body between her urethra and anal opening is some of the most expensive real estate in her body, right? So it's helping keep everything in, from pee to poop to babies to the vagina and to prolapse uterus. So there are major issues, and a lot of women don't realize this is pelvic floor weakness, that they're now leaking. They're passing gas more frequently and they can't do anything about it. And many are having fecal incontinence, and nobody talks about that. I mean, it's not a pleasant conversation you have with anyone. So you might be the first to bring it up and address it and just teach it without them asking. And you don't even have to know, right, who's got a question about it, because you're probably not going to get a lot of likes, shares, and comments on that one. But there may be a lot of people who actually do watch it. Let's talk about marketing without science in your programming. Right now, it seduces them because other people are doing it all the time. It's beyond time to stop false marketing, but it's not going to happen probably in our lifetime. You can help promote you, but not if you're only saying the things that other trainers and coaches are saying. You have to be different. You have to say the truth. You have to be willing to take risk and take on those who oppose what you say. Clients who should be working with qualified trainers and coaches like you, they are falling for programs promoted by midlife women who look good but don't use the same principles. They're falling for programs based on celebrities' creativity instead of evidence-based science used to build those programs. And they find a one-size-fits-all approach, even for programs designed based on hormone status, without flexibility for unique joints and energy needs or status. So why not you? They should fall in love with you, right? Are you taking a stand? Are you willing to say the unpopular thing? Are you willing to share the facts? Take the heat if you go against the dogma. That's really what it takes to stand out against a crowd. So once you have the knowledge, then you have the confidence to apply it and you have a stronger voice. And I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below the show notes at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/. We're going to talk about this show, Women's Hormone Phase. So fitnessmarketingmastery.com/women's hormone phase. And what you're looking for here in comments is tell me what you've seen, because I'd love to hear it. We're seeing a lot of women fall for traps and then lose weight, but regain far more weight, or feel like they got in shape right away, but then start crashing with adrenal issues afterward. And it's just like a quick fix diet, but it's quick fix exercise that's not a good fit for them. So share that, please, with me, if you will. And I've also got resources for you here. So I'm going to mention the Flipping 50 Menopause Fitness Specialist. I'll take you to the link. And there's one other thing that you might be interested in. If you have the knowledge, but you actually can't find the words or the message, I've got a way for you to discover that, to unveil it, if you will, because it's right there in front of your nose and you just may not be getting to it. So I'm going to link to the Marketing to Women copywriting course. And I think you'll find that if you're looking for how do I take this program I know can help so many women and get it in front of them, this is the answer. There you have it. What are you waiting for? The world needs you and I right now more than ever. So come to the show notes at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/women's hormone phase. And please leave me a comment. The world needs you right now more than ever.